The minor league regular season has come to an end across every level except for AAA, with just 1 week remaining there. The Yankees saw their minor league affiliates perform a lot better in the second half than the first half, and while the farm system definitely took a hit compared to where it was last year, it's not hopeless or directionless either. The most fun is when you have guys who are considered non-factors or never really considered top 30 prospects, and you see them come out of nowhere to put up a strong season and put themselves on the map. You never know who ends up rising from the shadows to become one of the better prospects in the Yankees organization, and today we're highlighting 3 players who exceeded expectations on the farm system in 2024. None of these players were universally ranked on top 30 lists entering the 2024 season, but I'd consider them must-haves for any installation of a top 30 list for this farm system entering the 2025 campaign. Before we get into today's video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our posts, and check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. Links are all in the description at Fireside Yankees everywhere except Instagram where it's at fireside.yankees. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Let's get things started with an undrafted free agent in Ben Shields, who is one of the more unique prospects in the Yankees organization. The left-hander had a 3.48 ERA and 137 strikeouts across 106 innings, the third most for any pitcher in the Yankees organization on the minor league side. He pitched across 3 different levels this year at High A, AA, and AAA, and while his AAA outing was just a spot start, he still was really impressive, and there are some awesome skills he brings to the table that I believe will play very well at the next level. He has a great ability to miss bats, having a 14.7% swinging strike rate, and he can also limit damage contact with a 47.8% ground ball rate. The Yankees signed him after the 2023 MLB draft again as an undrafted free agent, so this was his first professional season. And the weird thing is that he's 25 years old. You would expect for someone like Ben Shields to be a little older, to have spent a couple of years maybe toiling around at the lower levels of the minor leagues before finally clicking because he's just older than the guys he's facing. But this is a guy who is a rookie at being a pro. And when you look at his arsenal, there's a lot to like here. He throws a fastball, slider, and curveball from a low slot. His slider has good two-plane movement. That means that it has good vertical drop and some good horizontal sweep. His fastball gets a ton of arm side run, but it also has enough vertical movement for him to pick up swings and misses at the top of the zone, again because of that lower slot release. He can mix in his four-seamer, his curveball when needed. His four-seamer has a little more ride, a little less run. His curveball, again, a little more drop and a little less sweep. But his repertoire has done an overall really strong job of racking up whiffs and, again, keeping batters off balance and generating soft contact. His success with the Somerset Patriots in AA as a starter is what to me makes him really impressive, especially given that, again, this is his first season as a pro, and AA is a pretty tough place to pitch at when you compare it to High A, just because the quality of position player goes up dramatically. His pitchability and command are ahead of most first-year pros, which is expected given that he's 25, but I love that it's paired with some really good stuff. His stuff grades out extremely well in internal metrics, and in AA, he was one of just 2 pitchers with at least 50 innings pitched while having a ground ball rate north of 50% and a strikeout rate north of 29%. If the Yankees are able to help him build out a little more of a complete pitch mix in terms of his command and sequencing and push him deeper into games as he becomes more comfortable as a starter, we could be talking about a future middle of the rotation or back end starter on a playoff contender. I also think there's a chance he could just become a quality reliever since that's how the Yankees first started using him at the minor league level when he was in Hudson Valley. There are some fun lanes for Ben Shields to get involved as he's already shown some promise in AA in just his first pro season, giving him a chance to pitch in AAA early in 2025. And if the Yankees need someone to make a spot start, maybe Ben Shields is someone they look at. You never know. The Yankees are always in need of pitching depth. Every team is, and Shields has shown himself to be a lot better of a prospect than people initially gave him credit for, because it's not even like there was a conversation about him. He was just an undrafted free agent that nobody really paid any mind to until he started striking everybody out in High A and came up to AA and started doing it again. So Ben Shields has been awesome, and you guys should keep tabs on him for 2025. Moving on to another undrafted free agent, We have Raphael Flores, a catcher and first baseman who played at high A and double A this past season, teammates with Ben Shields. The right-handed slugger stands at 6'4" and was an undrafted free agent out of Rio Hondo, a JUCO in California, after the 2022 MLB draft. He was one of the most impressive hitters the Yankees had at the minor league level this past season, as across both AA and high A, he slashed .279, .379, and .495 with 21 home runs, a career high for him, and he posted the second best WRC plus in minor league baseball for hitters with at least 500 plate appearances this season at 149, leading the Yankees organization as well. Last season, he hit just 8 home runs across 105 games in high A, struggling to do much at all in terms of generating power, and it wasn't like he was a high contact hitter either. So he looked more like an organizational depth catcher for their minor league affiliates than a potential big leaguer that would become someone that the Yankees could even look at down the road. With an uptick in his launch angle and a greater emphasis placed on doing damage contact, the 23-year-old has shown off some incredible power skills, hitting baseballs north of 112 miles an hour and putting up a .217 isolated power. He made a big change to his batting stance between 2023 and 2024, and after dominating in AA, he's put himself on the radar for a promotion to AAA in early 2025, and again, a shot at maybe, just maybe, forcing himself onto the 2025 Major League roster. One of the biggest question marks in Raphael Flores' game is his ability to make contact. He struck out 25.3% of the time this season between high A and double A. Now, while that's not atrocious, it is still high enough to make you wonder if that would translate to the major leagues or if it would get significantly worse. What was encouraging was that from August onward, he struck out just 22% of the time with a 174 ISO, maintaining his ability to do damage contact without having to see an increase in his strikeout rate. Maybe it's a sign that he's able to get more comfortable making contact while selling out for some power, because again, that adjustment to sell out for power occurred this past season, and I'm confident he can mash. I really am. Joe Maglocchio, the hitting coordinator of the New York Yankees, said that he believes that Raphael Flores is at minimum a 20 home run hitter at the major league level, and that he's just tapping into his game power. But the question I have is whether he'll stick behind the plate as a catcher long term. This season, he posted a plus 1.4 catching defensive adjustment as a result of his strong framing abilities, but he really struggled to hold down the running game as runners stole over 100 bases on him with a success rate above 83% on their attempts. Granted, that could be due to the pitchers and the fact that a lot of pitchers at this level aren't capable of holding runners on, but again, it's still something I'm going to monitor. I'm going to track the fact that he was a below average steal preventer or base stealing preventer, whatever you want to call it. It's just something he's going to have to work on, and blocking wise, I think he's fine. It's something he could improve upon, but I think he will stick behind the plate long term. He does have the ability to play first base, and we know that first base is a bit of a question mark for the Yankees beyond 2024. It's been terrible this year already, and next year it's not like they have a superstar prospect, a surefire top 100 guy. Ben Rice could be in the mix, maybe Oswaldo Cabrera sprinkles in some time at first base, but perhaps Raphael Flores midway through the year just makes himself impossible to ignore. We also know the Yankees struggle against left-handed pitching right now, so maybe Flores, a right-handed hitter, is in that equation. The Yankees will have to put him on their 40-man roster after the 2025 campaign, so maybe they feel comfortable giving him a 40-man spot mid-season. We'll see, but I was very impressed with Flores this year, and you guys should be very excited as to what he can do in 2025. For our last player that we're going to highlight, it's Cam Schlittler, who actually was drafted. He was selected in the 7th round of the 2022 MLB draft, the only player on this list who was selected in the MLB draft, and he had a pretty unimpressive or unremarkable 2023 campaign. He had a 4.11 ERA with a 4.45 FIP in 13 starts, but this year it's been completely different. He posted a 3.36 ERA, a 3.60 FIP, and struck out an organization best 154 batters. He started his season in Hudson Valley before moving up to Somerset, and similarly to Ben Shields, he also got a spot start in AAA, which gave us a chance to look at his minor league data. He throws a four-seamer, slider, and curveball that have good velocity, spin, and movement that allow him to keep the ball on the ground and miss a ton of bats. His four-seamer has about 12 to 13 inches of induced vertical break, while sitting close to the zero line horizontally, which makes it more of a cutter than a traditional four-seamer. The catch is that this fastball sits in the 94 to 95 mile per hour range, and if you compare his fastball to Corbin Burns' cutter, there are some striking similarities. Both pitchers share virtually identical vertical movement profiles and velocity ranges, but there are some differences in horizontal movement as Burns' cutter cuts a little more than Schlottler's fastball does. With that being said, there are some differences in Corbin Burns and Cam Schlotter. Burns has far better command, he has a deeper arsenal, he can throw a sinker, he's a Cy Young winner. There's a million reasons why I would never compare Cam Schlotter to Corbin Burns, but it's just to say that that kind of fastball that has a decent amount of vertical ride, sits close to the zero line, plays more like a cutter, and has form velocity, that pitch can miss a ton of bats. Clark Schmidt has a cutter that prioritizes ride more than horizontal movement, and it gets a ton of whiffs. And while I think, again, there are some differences between Clark Schmidt and Cam Schlotter, the things that Cam Schlotter brings to the table are very projectable at the next level. He stands at 6'6", he's very tall, so obviously you can imagine that the velocity is something that can sustain itself or maybe even improve. From a breaking ball standpoint, his slider and curveball move a ton horizontally and vertically. They miss a ton of bats. It is a really strong combination of breaking ball pitches. And the other aspect that I really like about Cam Schlotter's game is that he has some funky release points. He releases from a super wide angle because of his long arms and big body and all that stuff, and it allows that slider to play up a lot more. It allows that fastball to be a little bit harder to pick up. He just is a weird and funky pitcher that batters are going to have a lot of trouble trying to read and consistently barrel up, which makes him an enticing player to me. There's a reason why the ground balls were so high, why the strikeout rates were so high, and while in Double-A his ERA took a huge uptick, I don't think it was because of a degradation of any of his skills. Sure, his ground ball rate dropped, but the strikeout to walk rate improved, and the only key decrease, if you want to call it that, or degradation, is the ability to limit BABIP, and I don't think it was a matter of not having skill, but just some rotten luck. There were a lot of bloop hits, there were a lot of soft singles and soft doubles, and just some weird defensive plays. I think Schlotter's FIP and xFIP in Double-A are far more reflective of who he is as a pitcher, and overall, he just had a really strong year. So the stuff is good, the projectability is good, and I think Cam Schlotter could be someone they look at again in 2025 because he's Rule 5 eligible after the 2025 season. The upside here for me is maybe a 3-starter in a big league rotation if he really maxes out some of his tools, but with how good his stuff is, the upside's pretty high here, and the Yankees should be very excited in what they have in Cam Schlotter. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section below. Are there any prospects in this video that you guys didn't know of before? Or are these guys that you've been following throughout the year? Are you a real prospect nerd? You love these guys, you love prospects, you love talking about all that stuff? Well, Fireside Yankees is the channel for you because we've got you guys with all kinds of content. If you guys found this video informational, educational, any of that sort of thing, make sure you guys, again, give us a thumbs up, comment, let us know in the comment section below. We appreciate any and all support. We appreciate you guys for sticking through to the end of the video. You guys can check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and of course this YouTube page. And don't forget to check out EmpireSportsMedia.com for written content and fireside bets to make some money this NFL season. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.